What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here. Jasmine Brand is here.
Yes.
And one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Deborah Roberts, is here with us today with a new book out. And Sisters Loved and Treasured is the name of the book. You know, last book was an homage to teachers.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
right?
yes,
Which made me do a whole topic of teachers that really impacted my life. And it was The Teacher Who Changed My Life, Lessons Learned and Cherished. So now we have this book, which is homage to sisterhood.
And I wanted you to be in the book, and then you said, I don't have sisters. So I was like, okay, that would be a little tough this time. But I know how much you love stories.
I've always wanted one.
Well, you know what? You will be inspired to hold tight to your sister friends because of this book, because it does celebrate sisterhood in all ways. I mean, obviously, I have biological sisters a lot.
Y'all deep.
We're deep. We're very deep. But the sisterhood, the bond is just real, whether you're related or not.
Well, let's talk about yours first, because I even want to know what made you feel inspired to write this book. And I have to imagine, and I know you've beaten yourself up about feeling like you're not the best sister.
She's honest about it.
You read the book. You read the book.
You're honest about it. Yeah.
I am honest about it. So after I finished writing the last book, and I had such a great experience, I started thinking, what would I do next? And you write really what you know. Yeah. And I started thinking about the things that interest me. And at the time, I think maybe just, I don't know, my sisters were on my radar, and I've had sisters who have dealt with illnesses, including one sister right now who is fighting cancer. And I was sort of thinking about sisterhood in general, and I had read a study that said sisters boost your emotional well-being. Having a sister is actually good for your mental health. And I thought, that is so interesting. And then I started looking deep into my own relationships with my sisters, because they're all over the map. I grew up in a large family, as you both know. I grew up with 6 sisters.
That's a lot.
6 sisters and 2 brothers. And 1 bathroom, by the way.
Can
in
you
the house.
imagine?
In the house.
First of all, those poor brothers.
No, the poor brothers, exactly.
I can't imagine
In fact,
that.
I dedicate the book to my oldest brother, Jackie, who just passed away recently. But we've lost some siblings along the way. We've lost 2 sisters, and we can talk about some of those stories. But I have 4 remaining sisters, and I sort of felt that we weren't as close as we either used to be or could be, and we're all scattered. And I have this big life where I travel, and I'm on television. And I thought, well, maybe it's me, and maybe I should be a better sister. So I wanted to delve into the sister bond and what is it all about. And the more I started talking to other people about their sisters, I realized, number one, I'm not that unusual in terms of the bond. Yes, in terms of the bonds, sometimes fraying a little bit, but also too that they're all so different. The relationships don't have to be perfect for you to have a strong bond.
Right.
And to know that they're always there. I saw they were in the audience at The View.
So cute.
They were
with
here
you, sitting front and center
for Pub Day.
That had to feel good. How did they respond?
They were well. First of all, they were
book.
so excited to be in New York and to be on television and running all over. Going to a Broadway show and hanging out, because they live in Texas and Florida and Georgia, and they have the kind of lives where they don't do this kind of thing very often. But I think more than anything, they got such a kick out of being celebrated. I have a life that is very big and that is very public, and they know that. But for them to be pulled into a project that I was working on and to be celebrated and to be able to talk a little bit about our lives and to put some things out there. And I have to say, honestly, it was actually a very good experiment for us in bringing my own sisters into this book. My youngest sister was a little nervous at first. What are we talking about? What's going on? Are we like shaking the family tree and revealing all the secrets? Or
But they trust you, because I think people would know your intentions is never that.
Yes, and I made it very clear to her, it is not about making anybody feel uncomfortable. And my youngest sister, Belinda, and I have struggled a little bit over the years with our relationship. And I think she was a little worried about, what's your perception? What are you going to say? And how honest can I be about you? And we wound up having a really lovely discussion about the ups and downs and difficulties and how we felt either guilty or just, badly about different things that have happened over the years. And it opened up a conversation, which is what I'm hoping the book will do for others.
Man, there's all different stories in there. Viola Davis had a really powerful one.
How did you get in? That was probably one of my most memorable ones, because it was so traumatic, and she was talking about how trauma helped bond her with her sister and what they saw growing up, and also her having like panic attacks and anxiety attacks when she was little, and her sister helped her. But how did you get all this? How did you get her to pull that kind of stuff out?
Well, Viola had actually talked about all of this because she had written her own
her memoir.
And so I knew that she had put it out there. And I've run into Viola, and I would like to say we're friendly because I've interviewed her for a few stories before. And so I, of course, in the course of thinking about sisters, you think about people that you've read about who have interesting, unique bonds with their sisters. And I thought, rather than just talk about beautiful, lovely bonds and people who get along so well, let's talk about bonding over trauma. And I asked Viola when I saw her last if she would be willing to talk to me about her story, and she was happy to do it. And so that was so interesting to me to hear. I mean, we've heard her talk about it some, but she opened up, I think, in a way with me. She took the time to really talk about what her sisters meant to her. And the same with other people. When I talk, whether they were all famous, like Octavia Spencer or Ariana Huffington or Connie Chung, the news anchor, there were a lot of bold names, but there were a lot of just regular folks, including my assistant Alex and her twin sister.
Yeah, you have a whole thing about twins in here, and the special bond that twins share coming from the same DNA. So can you talk about that?
They call themselves womb mates. You know, who can be closer to you than the one you shared the womb with? Jenna Bush Hager and her sister, Kim and Karen, other friends of mine here in New York. I just thought the sister bond is already interesting, but twins who often say they can feel each other's pain.
Yeah, it's
almost
fascinating.
Read each other's emotions.
Right.
Michael Strahan's two girls, Isabella and Sophia, one of them was going through a life-threatening illness. I thought the twin bond was particularly interesting because it can be fraught. People see them as the same, the twins. They don't get their own identity.
Doesn't wear the same clothes.
Exactly. And oftentimes they don't
They
necessarily
do.
love
They
that.
usually don't.
They don't.
Is that you, Alex? Did y'all hate wearing? Yeah. Even saying I'm not going to the same school as you because I would love to like form my own identity.
They can get like defiant. I have friends that are twins. They're older than me, and they really look alike, but they are like polar opposite, and it kind of irritates them sometimes when like people can't recognize like the difference, or we call them the twins, and it's kind of like
we have a name. But there were also twins too, though, who were just so close and felt that they were upset when they got separated at school, and they felt that they were denied this opportunity to be so close. So you're absolutely right. That's what I thought was so interesting. The journey of sisterhood is complex.
Yes.
It can be beautiful, it can be challenging, it can be infuriating, it can be all of these things, but yet there is a bond.
And Kim and Karen, I believe they both talked about their fertility issues too in the book.
They talk about the fertility issues, and one of them was actually having a major crisis, and the other one said she felt her pain.
Can you imagine?
I thought, how is that? You kind of wonder, like, oh, wait a second, is that possible?
It makes sense though.
And P.S. They're identical twins. They came from the same egg, so maybe there is something there that just unites them in a way that is different from other sisters.
You know what I noticed as a common thread throughout the book is that a lot of times when the sisters were talking about each other, they could be opposites. Like there's Kim Alexis and Rhonda Durbin Kim, a former supermodel. Kim Alexis and Rhonda Durbin. Kim is a former supermodel. Rhonda is a retired tech executive. What I notice is sometimes like one sister will put herself down. Like, you're so much smarter than I am. You're the pretty one. You're this, you're that. And the other sister will be like, do not say
interject.
that. Yeah, because that is not true. You are beautiful. You're this. Just that relationship of how sometimes you compare yourself.
Yeah, but the sister is there to amplify and to make you feel worthy. That happened with Robin Roberts and her two sisters, Sally Ann and Dorothy. So I had interviewed Robin for the first book about teachers, and I thought, I know Robin's story, but it would be fun to hear from her sisters about being Robin's sister.
Yeah.
And Robin maybe secretly was a little nervous. She thought it was a great idea, but when I sat to interview in the Zoom, the two sisters, Robin pops up in the background. I was like, what are you doing here?
Right.
But
just checking.
The little sister, and Robin's the baby sister. But what was interesting was that Sally Ann, who was Robin's stem cell donor, saved her life, was so self-deprecating. And when I asked her about that, she, and other people should do it, and it's an honor to be able to. And Robin chimed in and said, wait a second, sister.
Yeah.
No, let me give you props. And she elevated her sister and amplified her voice. And I thought that's a classic sister moment.
Right.
To jump in and say, no, you're not giving yourself enough credit.
Yeah.
And that was, once again, the epitome of the sister relationship. Again, not always beautiful, not always great, lots of fights, people are at each other's throats. But at the end of the day, there is something that holds you together and makes you feel something different and special toward that person whom you share a history with, you shared a home with, you have a background. Who else knows where your scars are, physical and emotional? Your sister, someone who shared your childhood.
And sometimes you don't share a home, right? And so there is a story in here, Denise Graves, and,
the opera singer.
Yeah, so can you tell us about that one? Because I thought that was very interesting.
Denise, now I have to tell you guys, sometimes I wasn't prepared for what I was going to find out because I thought I knew people a little bit, maybe, when I approached them. And Denise just blew me away with her story. First of all, Denise is this mezzo-soprano opera star. Everybody knows her from stage. And she starts to explain her sister, her relationship with her sister, the two of them growing up. They were also sort of opposites. And, Denise used to torture her sister a little bit, and you hear these stories a lot, and actually blamed her for something when they were little, and and over the years never really took ownership of it, but she eventually did. So they had the classic sister role of having their ups and downs, and Denise sort of bossing her around. But then Denise also discovered that there were other siblings in the family later on after her father died, and she did not know
Met
that.
them at the funeral.
Crazy. At the funeral. Crazy. And I said, "Oh my gosh, Denise, are you sure you want to share all of this?" But she discovered she had other sisters, and ultimately she's just decided that that's just life, and that there's power in that, owning what your maybe messy situation can be. And I just loved hearing her story. She and her sister had a big fight about Denise commenting on how she was raising her son or daughter, and they had. But that's what sisters do.
Right.
You irritate each other.
Yeah.
You tell
That's
each
my
other.
job. Yeah.
Yes, my job. I tell you what to do. And my youngest sister would say the same thing. You're the bossy sister who's always telling me what to do.
You definitely give that to.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I own it. I own it.
Yeah, you feel like the organizer.
I know.
I can see that.
Telling them what to do, telling her. She's like, you're judgmental, whatever.
But you can't sing though.
I cannot sing.
All your other sisters
They all
can
sing, and we all sing
in
the
choir. Are you sure
choir.
you can't sing? Okay.
Well,
you can a little.
I can a little.
Not like them, though.
Not like that.
Okay.
But when we sang, when they were home recently, and we sang a little bit, I joined in, and afterwards they all went, "Whoa, you didn't blow it! I usually blow the harmony, and I didn't blow it." So I guess I've learned a little over the years. I've pulled it together.
You know what's always interesting too in big families? People always feel like there's a favorite.
Yes.
And so that's a thing too.
Don't start, Angela. Don't start. Oh my gosh. I know they called me out for that on a television show in the morning. Somebody said, "Was she the favorite?" And they all went, "Yes." But I really wasn't the favorite in the household, although my youngest sister said, "I sort of always thought Mom loved you more." And that was a moment of honesty that really meant a lot.
That's how she looked at things.
And it also helped me understand her more. Maybe we've had bumps over the years because she had certain perceptions. She also felt that she was left behind. She was the last one to be at home.
That's always the hardest.
And that's hard. You're last one home with Mom and Dad. Everybody's gone.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah,
you don't want to you don't want to be the tag along either.
Exactly.
They don't want you to be tag along.
Exactly.
Right. And they also kind of tired of raising all the mother kids.
Exactly. And I would call her and tell her now and again what she should be doing, and what she wasn't doing right. So she had that perception of me, and I had the perception of her as being the spoiled younger child. So we have been able to talk about some things in our adult lives that we weren't able to before. But I think we all agreed that maybe I was a little bit of a standout just because of whatever my aspirations and things I did in school, but I was not the favorite.
Okay.
And we're also celebrating 30 years.
30.
Yes. I mean, that's a big deal for you at ABC, for you being married, because that all happened at the same time.
At the same
What
time.
a crazy year was that?
Oh, my gosh.
Have all of that happen in the same year.
Angela, you do your homework. You know everything. I love that. She's just
good.
like, she ties
She's
it
good.
all together. She
gonna
always
gonna weave it
knows.
together too.
I know, and I'm thinking maybe she'll miss this or that, and she never does. This was such a beautiful moment because I will always remember my anniversary, my wedding anniversary, because I started at ABC 2020 in May, and then I got married in September of 1995, and I was like,
were you able to take time off? You just
no, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not much. But it's a beautiful time, I think, in life to be able to look back and to think that, wow, not only was I able to achieve this dream and work at network television and on 2020
and always still elevating,
and-
like 2020. Like last time I saw you, we had the whole 2020 discussion of that role. So, and here you are just flourishing always. Okay, but go ahead.
You're too nice. Yeah, but to be able to make it to that program that I had grown up watching, and I really, really aspire to it. So there's that. And then to also be celebrating 30 years with this man who makes me happy and annoyed and nourished and annoyed.
All the things.
All those things. But it's been really great, and to be celebrating our life and our children and all of that. It's been a nice year.
I want to ask you too about the news right now.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a lot happening.
And because I know it's a tough situation being in the spot that you're in. We need you there. I do want to say that there's no question about that, but I'm also just concerned, watching so many things happening, so many shifts, so many things not able to be reported on in this way, and people just kind of having to delicately say things when they may want to scream it out.
To say more. It's a very difficult time, and I think it's always been a little bit difficult, I think, for us in the news industry, because at the end of the day, we are an industry and we have corporate parents and all of that, but it is a very different time. But, there are people who are saying to me, if you look back at the 60s and the 70s and the tumult going on in the country, that was also a very difficult time, and news mattered more than ever. Now, we didn't have, people trying to shut down news organizations and silence news reporters and all of that at that time. But there were efforts to push back and to definitely silence reporting back in the 60s and the 70s. So to some degree, we have been there historically before, but we are in a very different time because of social media and because of so many other influences and platforms, I think, that surround us. It's a very challenging time, and it's a very, very challenging time because it's hard. What I really try to work and assert myself about is truth. And I think all reporters and journalists are all about truth. And when people are picking and choosing what they feel is truthful, that is very difficult. I mean, I grew up in a time where if you saw a report on Walter Cronkite on CBS or in the New York Times or on 60 Minutes, and, it was obviously reported very well, you really believed that was something you needed to know about, and it was truthful, and you believed it.
You didn't think you had to fact check it.
And the idea that people will doubt us and doubt our motives and doubt our truth-telling is very, very difficult. So I think we just have to keep fighting the fight and keep trying.
That's why we need certain people in positions always. I've grown up watching Deborah Roberts, so it's amazing to me that I can text her and be like,
text each other.
No, that's amazing to me. I just want to say I love what it is and who you are as a human being. I love this book. My whole life when I was growing up, I always wanted a little sister. It did not happen.
Well, that's okay. That's okay, because you're going to feel like you have a little sister. You're going to feel like
I was a little jealous reading the stories.
There's chosen sisters. Yeah. I think we have sisters that we choose.
Well, you have, exactly. You have a sisterhood. And Carol Radziwill, one of our essayists, talked about that. She's got sisters, but she's so close to the chosen sisters, her friends. So you two have a sisterhood.
She's like my big sister. She tells me what to do.
There you go. Exactly.
You know what? She's more like my daughter, if I had to define it.
If you had to define it. But can I just tell you guys, the audio book is so great too.
Oh, yes.
Audible.
Because we love your voice.
But it's not just your voice on the audio book.
There are others. So I read sections, and I narrate sections, but then we have actors who read sections. So someone reads Viola Davis's story, someone reads Octavia, and the voices just bring it to life. And I'm enjoying listening to the audiobook as well. And I never really do. So read the book and listen to it as well.
Did you learn anything about yourself while you were writing this?
I learned that I was probably a little hard on myself and my sisters by thinking that maybe our bond wasn't as strong as it is because we do have ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I learned that everybody does, and everybody's got stuff. Yep. But that doesn't mean that you are not bonded. And I think I feel closer to my sisters as a result of it.
Well, this book, Sisters Loved and Treasured, I think is amazing for the holidays. Perfect timing. I know you timed it that way.
Oh, I think about
the planner,
The planner.
Yeah, so this is something that I think that, sisters, your chosen ones, your blood sisters, your sisters you just found out about years later.
At the funeral.
You never know. There may be time for you, Angela.
Listen, I don't know. My dad wasn't getting it in like that. But definitely something that you guys should go and pick up. Are you doing any like book tours or anything?
I'm doing some signings here and there, so I'm happy to. Hopefully, people will find me and I'll sign books for you. But just pick up one for you and one for your sister or your sister friend. I do think you will just really enjoy these stories. Be inspired and moved and touched in ways.
This is so beautiful. I want to say Connie Chung is in here. I just did Maury Povich's podcast yesterday. On par with Maury. So
she's so funny in this book, by the way.
By the way, they are both hilarious. They found each other.
It's a good marriage.
Yes, it's perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much again, Deborah Roberts. Make sure y'all check her out on 2020 also, because that is my show. And it's also streaming too. So even if I don't see it, I can go back.
Disney Plus. Yes.
Period.
Period.
Okay.